These are Horatio Pugani's cars here. That's just a little model I got from the store there. That thing probably only costs like I don't know, maybe $10 if the most of the little yellow Murcielago in the back. Pugani again. That's the Hawaii. This I got offline. It's a Lewis Hamilton replica of a Mercedes. And I purchased that after he won one of his many wins from one of the Formula One racing series that I've seen online. Inspired me to purchase that. I think I paid maybe $100 for that online. So as I travel down here, the collection is going to get a little mixed. Matter of fact, I'll open this cabinet because the glare is just a little crazy. This is a old, let's see, I got it back there. It's an old revolver, and it was designed in 1878. It's not really worth that much money. I think maybe only $250. My dad actually had this gun. He fell in love with it. He got it from his uncle, and just over the years, he's up there in age, so he just kind of passed it along to me. I thought it was very interesting piece, and didn't want to polish it up, left it just like it is, but it's an interesting piece in itself. I could be wrong on that price. Actually, I think, now that I think about it, I think this gun, from what little research I did on it, I tried to look into it, but I think for the most, this might go for $850. I think. I could be wrong. You would think something like this would go for more money, but who knows? It's all going to be up to the appraiser for that. My mom had gotten me these as birthday gifts. In the back, you'll see like Fossil they did these watches, and these watches were infused with even the price tag is on them somewhere. They're for like $40, I believe. But they were pretty cool because I'm a big watch person, so she got those for me. This I got offline, 250 GTO Ferrari. I was a big fan of the car. Of course, I appreciate anybody who knows about Ferraris know that that's like considered one of Ferrari's best vehicles that was made. I think I paid about $100 for this offline. Cannot recall who the manufacturer is. Ford Mark V. 1967. This is when Fords were racing up against the Ferraris in some of the Le Mans and won pretty big and put kind of Ford on the map. 1963 Dodge 330, Mercedes SLR McLaren. I think one of the most boss badass cars made. There again, all of these I got offline. That ranged, I think I might have got that a bidding war on eBay, $60 or whatever. These deer going again can range about, I don't know, $20-30 or more. Revitone, I think only one of 20 were made. That's not the best brand Revitone made, but I just like the model of the car. Same with the Aventador. You got a Shelby Series 1 back there, Carroll Shelby, one of his cars, of course, iconic within its right. Porsche 911 GT1.
In real time, and we'll listen to it because it's just phenomenal. Just listen. Look at that barrier move. Yannick Dalmas is okay.
Best boss cars ever made. I got that online for maybe, I think I got it on sale for like $80 or so. And then I'm going to pan one up again. So as I pan up, I just already talked about these, so I'm going to cover the second cabinet here. On top of the second cabinet, I put this whole frame piece together, and I actually wrote to George Barrett's estate, because at the time he was still alive, but his daughter was running his business. I think some of the family was running his business because he was getting up there in age and was close to passing away. He's passing along now, but these are all signed by George Barris. This one here and that one back in there is signed by Barris. Of course, these are cars that he created, like the Batmobile is the first Batmobile there. I think he had his hand in creating some of the other ones. One of my favorite Batmobiles and favorite Batmans of the earlier era was Val Kilmer. And here he is there. He signed this. Got this from a collector off of eBay. Can't even remember what I paid for it. I put this whole frame composite together, and all of the images are signed. One of my favorite actors was Tom Hardy. Tom Hardy, of course, played Bane. So that's his signature there. Certificate of authenticity of all of these are on the back of the frame. Some stamp collectibles there. Got off of just from post office. That'll be a nice touch to add. And this whole montage of Batman, Jim Carrey. They're getting that 1992-93 version of Batman. I think Joel Schumacher may have directed it. It was one of my favorite eras. A friend had actually brought me this Batmobile. It kind of lights up too. It's not working right now because I had to put batteries in it, but this gives you a, most people are familiar with that. Val Kilmer Batman. That car was pretty badass to me because I think H.R. Geiger had a hand in creating the mock-up for it, and I don't think he got the credit for it, but you can see how it has that that overlayer of Geiger's work. Giger, some people say Giger, I can't recall, but he's a badass dude, badass artist. 300, big fan of that when that came out, and that had a this helmet actually came with one of the collecting DVD cases that I gotten. James Bond DB, what is this? The DB9 coupe, of course, made probably by 007 himself. Not the Daniel Craig, but more like, I think at the time, Pierce Brosnan was in the franchise during this period when this DB9 was out. My boss, where I work, this is an interesting story. My boss had found this, her and her husband had found this in her their garage they were cleaning out. Gave it to me because she knows I'm a big James Bond fan, and her husband was looking online. I was like, oh my God, do you know how much that thing was that you gave him? So these go for about $650 online. She knows I appreciate it though, and he didn't care too much. It was just one of the things they were just kind of trying to value some of the other things that they had found in the garage. But this is an interesting little car because apparently it has all of this stuff on here. I think it was made in London, of course. But it's such a I was so privileged to have this and would never sell it. Strictly there again, I'm a James Bond fan, and Sean Connery was popular back and of course made Bond pretty iconic, but that's way before my era. But nevertheless, I still appreciate the older films. But with this, it's such a very well made small little toy with a lot of personality and character. The little back shield pops up just like in the movie. I can't even remember what movie this is. Those fans out there would know. Oh, Goldfinger. I'm sorry. Bing is right there. Goldfinger. So from the movie Goldfinger, the car, I think this was the DB5, and it was quite popular. It made quite a hit for viewing audiences and iconic in its own right. But this little thing, I'm not going to, of course, open it, but it does everything like the car would do. Like the little bumpers extend and come out. The doors open. There's a little figure that comes in there, comes with the car that's sitting in there at the moment. And if you can see in the back, it even ejects. Like one of the most popular things in the film was Bond was able to eject one of the villains out of the car. And this thing, like the little rooftop, actually opens up and it does eject the little figure out, which is so damn cool. There's illustrations of how you operate and do all of that. There again, please forgive all of the reflections. But I'm not trying to dwell too heavily on all of the items because there's so many I'm trying to cover. This is an actual little transformer piece. Like it actually collapses and transforms into, I think, Starscream. So I was a big Transformers fan growing up. Coming down into the second cabinet, Ferrari 348. I think that one was featured in the Pierce Brosnan James Bond movie. I think it was Goldfinger. Yeah, gosh, sure was. The Russian villain in that movie was driving that vehicle in the beginning of the movie. I forgot all about that. That was called Goldfinger too. one of my favorite Bonds growing up for sure. Um, Jay Leno baseball. Got this offline, and anybody who knows Jay Leno know he's a car enthusiast and aficionado to say the least. I mean, that guy's collection has been revered as one of the best in the world, and I certainly agree with that. So that's signed by the man himself. I didn't get him personally, but I got it offline. Um, some of my favorite cars in the '90s, of course. Actually have a replica car of this 348. Actually, like an actual replica that's really badass. I may feature that one day, but I had to have that. I got that offline for about $100 or so. Um, Lamborghini Diablo. As we come down, we got the Murcielago. All these I've gotten offline. They again go for about, I don't know, 30, $40. As V Diablo. In the back, you got the California Ferrari. We have there again, this badass Porsche 911 GT1. The year was '98. These cars are just phenomenal in their own right and way. And I had to have this one. I think I paid $100 offline for it. I just love the color and all of that vehicle there. As we go down, nothing is here. I had a trumpet that's downstairs, but I usually keep my trumpet here. It was trumpet stand. The Me 412 concept car by Chrysler. Underrated car in my opinion. Very nice car. Got this offline for about 30, $40. It was a concept car. And I think if they would have came out with those, it would have really sold it and could have done some things. I'm going to go back up, and now I'm about to approach the third cabinet. In the third cabinet here, you get, I made that there myself, which is a Porsche sign. Let me see if I can turn down some of this glare here. Hopefully that helps. We got the, the Porsche Carrera GT there. Beautiful car in its own right. Unfortunately, that was the car that Paul Walker wound up dying in. Our boy from the Fast and the Furious. Little Batman sign I had there from back in the day when I was a kid. I don't know. Some of the stuff I just kept. I couldn't even believe I had. It had in the condition that it was in. Some things you want to collect and you just forget about, and they were just tucked and stored away. And I found some of these things. I'm like, oh my goodness. There's a Hemi Challenger there, badass car. American Muscle there. This car got offline for about, in a bidding war, I think I got it for $200. Dukes of Hazzard was very popular growing up. And this is signed by all the cast. Had a certificate of authenticity in the box and everything. The Notorious generally signed by all the actors and George Barris himself. Love this vehicle here. Had to have that. Iconic in its own, from a television standpoint. It's just so iconic in many ways. I think that speaks for itself. Madonna from back in Dick Tracy era, when the movie was out, and let's see if I can come around here so you can see her. They have some of the collectible figurines down there. Warren Beatty and Madonna were pretty big back in the '90s. I think they were dated for a while. Al Pacino was the henchman. He's back there. So I just thought those were cool. This is a Nart Ferrari car. I think a P4, P3. Can't remember. I paid about $100 for it, but this car is extremely iconic in its own right. National Association Racing Team, I think, is what Nart stands for. But this P4 is for the Ferraris. It's either a P3, P4. I can't remember, but they were just iconic nevertheless. Maserati back there. Iron Man collectible, sideshow collectible that I had gotten back when Iron Man first came out, quite popular. Another fossil watch airplane. There's a tag down there, $34. But these are quite functional because what they do is like this case is designed to where it fits perfectly with the shell of that plane there. So it's quite a nice design. So collectibles or not, I love them. A little Ferrari Testarossa. Back when Miami Vice was popular, you know, that car, iconic, speaks for itself. Then we're going to get down to some of the toy memorabilia. You got the Alien Queen back there. Some of this stuff I'm not going to go and focus with because I'm just thinking a lot of people know what this stuff is and may even have it. Heisenberg, love Breaking Bad. You got Jesse back there. We got a Transformer dinosaur back there. Not sure which one he is. We got Gus back there, Breaking Bad figurine. When Gus got blown up, iconic for itself. I haven't taken these out of the box because I just didn't feel it was really any need to let them preserve like how they are. Took the Alien Queen out of her box, but yeah. And here's the Spawn that complements those comics up there. So there's Spawn with his, bat and so forth. There's medieval Spawn back there, and there's the She Spawn. I'm not sure if I'm saying her name correctly. Invisible Woman, Iceman. These were just regular toys that I just picked up over the years for whatever reason. I found fancy for them. Hellboy down here came with the DVD set that I purchased. I was kind of feeling Hellboy when it first came out. Owlman, of course, he kicks ass. That came with a DVD set. That was one of the Justice League sets. Pontiac Banshee. That car was pretty iconic in the 90s. Never really got too much play or notoriety, but it was one of the first kind of supercars of its era. Down here I got these, which is Professor X, and these were a quote on sale. As you can see, they were like only $5.99. There's War Machine back there, Blade Runner. That's some metal, the metal car. I really love what that car looked like with the Blade Runner 4099. Didn't assemble it yet. Didn't feel it was any need to because where room was concerned too. Running out of room with some certain things. Batman Forever. Big fan of there again that Batman movie. And then I have my cars down here, which as a kid I had, and then I rediscovered them as I had them. 959, 911s, 944. All these are Hot Wheels for the most part. So that's it for my third and pretty much last case. Moving on to the guitars, they really don't hold any value or significance other than I was trying to teach myself to play. Had some enjoyment with that, but this one is an actual collectible, which is the Queen of Soul, Aretha Franklin herself. Forgive the glare again. Let me see if I can make some adjustments with my lighting. So this one I got off of JG Autograph, and gives a breakdown, SKU number, certificate of authenticity, signed by the Queen of Soul herself. So that's that. I just love the whole, there again, this kind of H.R. Geiger design of the backplane. So I hung that on the wall along with the Batmobile there. There again, sticking close to Batman itself. This is these are two different props, certificates of authenticity of where these props came from the one's from the Dark Knight, and one is from Batman Forever. And I put this whole frame together, color-wise concept and everything. But apparently these were actually used. This was held by Jim Carrey when they robbed the bank in the movie. This one here, there again, excuse the glare. I don't know how to get rid of that thing. Let's see if I can turn this down some more. Can't get a good shot of that. But that one is, or apparently was used in The Dark Knight with Heath Ledger. And with that stack of money that was burned. Those are two of the bills that were apparently featured in those films. I'm going to go around here. Lamborghini, of course, Bugatti. I love that poster. It's like a retro poster from the early days. Forgive the glare, people. Spawn and Batman, Spider-Man. These are some of the great crossovers in comic history. Batman and Predator. You know, Batman was doing his thing, of course. Still iconic to this day, always will be, in my opinion. That's when Bane broke Batman's back. Of course, that actually happened in The Dark Knight Rises. Now I'm just going to briefly go over some what's next, which is some of the albums we have. Isaac Hayes, who I love, feels iconic before my time, but nevertheless, I appreciate the dude. Duke Ellington, appreciate the dude. Big music lover, so a lot of those guys was on point to me. Let's see, you got Do the Right Thing. Prince, 1999. I think that speaks for itself. Let me adjust the lighting. Ice-T was big when I was growing up. So we got Ice-T here. That's the Gold album. This is actually signed from him, and I've gotten off of one of the memorabilia sites that I like. I'll just go from left to right. Richard Pryor is not signed, but nevertheless, I'll just back up so you can get a full pan of some of this stuff. Tribe Called Quest, an Apple Green album. Back in the 90s, you didn't really see too much stuff like this, so I just thought that was just so damn cool. Madhouse was produced by Prince, and it was pretty, major in its own right and time. Big David Lee Roth fan back in the day growing up.